And turning to North Korea now, where the country's media has broadcast a test launch of ballistic missiles it said took place off its eastern coast on Saturday. North Korea's leader Kim Jong Un and his teenage daughter observed the test. It is viewed as a response to joint US-South Korean military maneuvers that Pyongyang sees as an invasion rehearsal. Citing Kim, North Korean state media says that a strike would obliterate enemy military infrastructure within a 420-kilometer range. Now, that's enough to reach any part of its rival to the south. And for more, let's bring in Aidan Foster-Carter. He's a career analyst at Leeds University in England. Good to have you on the programme, Aidan. So first of all, tell me...
Very nice to be back. Thank you.
We've just mentioned Kim Jong Un and his teenage daughter observing those tests. Is Kim Jong Un paving the way for his daughter to become his successor?
I think so, yes. No other explanation of his conduct or what's been happening over the past nearly 2 or 3 years now makes sense, which is that typical North Korean fashion, they don't do anything by chance, but she hasn't been named even. In fact, we think she's called Kim Jong-un because a certain basketball player called Dennis Rodman said so. That's how good our sources are. But there she is. She's seen more and more by his side. They did just have a party congress where some people thought she might be formally named, but that didn't happen and she didn't appear at it, but she did appear at a military parade afterwards. But basically, she's with him the whole time. What could this possibly be signalling except a succession?
But when would this succession take place? I mean, are there any signs that Kim Jong Un is ready or might even need a successor soon? Or is this preparation just ongoing for years and years and years?
I think the latter, and it makes a lot of sense because we've got a bit of history to North Korea now. I mean, bizarre as it is, this is a technically communist state, which is in practice a hereditary monarchy. So this would be the third one. The first one was well prepared. Kim Il-sung, the founder, once he decided to do this rather radical or reactionary thing and have his son Kim Jong-il succeed him, it's hard keeping track of all these Kims, I know. That had about 20 years. Kim Jong-il did not give the same favor to his son, Kim Jong-un, the current ruler. He wasn't even introduced to the North Korean people until barely a year before his father died. So it seems to me that Kim Jong-un, who doesn't have a very healthy lifestyle, a man who smokes in hospitals and kindergartens and is quite large.
It's also bad for the kids.
Is taking no chance. Sorry?
It's also bad for the kids, not just his lifestyle that is impacted.
Yes,
there.
Indeed. And North Korea does have an anti-smoking law, but, you know, the leader is the leader. So I think he is making long-term plans, but very long-term. I mean, if he does live as long as his father and grandfather, he's got another 30 years to go.
Yeah,
40
and there is no opposition. I mean, I know we're talking about North Korea, but you mentioned a hereditary monarchy. So there is nobody else in sight who could challenge Kim Jong-un's choice of his teenage daughter there.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would recommend viewers to study their medieval history, be it European, be it Asian. We know how monarchies work. Succession is always difficult. There's always somebody else who wants it. In this particular case, it's his sister, Kim Yo-jong. She's clearly very powerful. She was promoted at the last Congress. She's often a spokesperson chosen to be rude about South Korea particularly. What does she think of her niece? We don't know. I mean, and again, think of the age of this young woman. She's very poised, but we think she's only just entered her teens. You know, she's about 13. No way can she have any sort of a power base of her own at this stage. So there'll be all kinds of court politics going on, which sadly we can see nothing of at all.
Now, Aidan, let's talk a little bit about Iran. North Korea, obviously seen as a close partner of Iran, and some foreign policy analysts describe the two as part of an axis of upheaval. How do you think Kim views that war in Iran, and how does it affect him and his country?
I think he views it with some alarm. Not quite as much alarm as, again, thinking back 20 years ago when a different US administration launched an attack on Iraq. And of course, George Bush used the phrase axis of evil. Kim Jong-il went to ground for a while. Kim Jong Un isn't having none of that. We're seeing him, at all these missile tests and all that kind of thing. But obviously, you think twice. I mean, it looks as if all of us, but particularly perhaps Kim Jong Un, probably wonder and worry if Donald Trump is getting an appetite for this. Having done the easy one, Venezuela, you just swoop in, capture Maduro, and Bob's your uncle. It's done. Somebody must have thought. He must have thought, okay, we'll do Iran now. Which clearly is a very tough nut. Let us hope that, the difficulty that he's having in Iran will make him or anybody think twice. I hope he wouldn't think about North Korea. He seems to think Kim Jong Un is his friend. That helps. But North Korea, of course, has the nuclear weapons that Iran does not yet have, and hopefully that would stay his hand. But if you're Kim Jong Un and you see all this happening, you would think twice, wouldn't you? You'd be careful. You would worry. You'd take precautions.
Or perhaps, briefly, if you would, could what he's watching there perhaps also somehow give him an appetite to actually use those missiles? I mean, we see him testing, but with the attention of the international community right now elsewhere, could that be perhaps an effect of what we're seeing now in the Middle East?
No. Short answer, no. Axis of upheaval or not, China or Russia would never allow it. They do not want distractions on the Korean Peninsula. His grandfather dragged them into a terrible war in the early 50s. They're not having that happening again. That will not happen. That may sound, I don't want to sound complacent, but I think I'm pretty sure of that.
Wonderful. Clear and straightforward answer there from Aidan Foster Carter from Leeds University. Thank you so very much for that.
Thank you.